Okay. Any questions that you have in your mind regarding physical and psychosocial development that we discussed yesterday? We'll start with, there seems to be no questions. I will assume that everything is clear to you all. Anyway, these are very simple portions that you are being taught. So, what you have been going through as a parent or as a teacher, that is just technically explained to you. So, you will find it very easy also to remember. Okay. Only each thing has a name, and there is a research which strengthens the saying with what we are saying, and the theories also that explain such developments among adolescents. Okay, so we'll focus on moral development in adolescence today. What is morality? Anyone? We have some 50 odd students in this classroom. So till we have more than 50, we can ask questions and clarify and understand what you mean by all these terms. Right? What is morality? In schools, you have moral science for the students to be taught. So there is a moral science
To
book.
be, Madam, good evening. To be
Good.
aware of what is right or wrong,
Okay, very good.
uh, as per the social norms,
Okay,
prevailing social norms, what is right or
yes.
what is wrong,
Uh-huh.
that is morality, what I
Okay,
think.
yes, perfectly correct. But we are referring to the social system here. What is right in a social system, particular social system, may not be so right in another social culture, isn't it? Do you agree?
Yes, ma'am, yes.
So we will always be referring to the society or the social system that we belong to the culture that we belong to, and how the rules are formed and how it is followed by the members of this social groups. Okay. So when we talk about moral science being taught to students, what is the importance of teaching them? Don't you think it should be naturally coming to them, or it has to be taught?
Actually, it should be naturally imparted to them. There is no need to teach separately because
Okay.
many things is because imitation itself,
Yes.
copying itself is the one of the traits of the human beings. Not only
Yes.
human beings but also other beings.
Yes.
Okay, so we should set examples
Very
before
good.
others.
Good point.
Okay, ma'am.
So what we do is actually we believe that it should be naturally coming to them. But what is the age that they come to the school normally for the residential system?
In our
At the age
system,
of 11
generally they
only.
come by 10
Okay,
years onwards. Yes.
okay, okay. Before that, 10 years of age, they are staying at home, right? And since they are coming from different social cultural backgrounds, also sometimes it's far away, their houses are far away from the school, isn't it? So they must be referring to a different social system where it is okay to use some slangs or to tease each other, to beat each other. Sometimes few things are not okay in our culture, which we find to see in the same culture, which is not very desirable, isn't it? Hence, the necessity of a moral science subject which will be uniformly teaching about the rules and standards of behavior for, and it will set the rules by emphasizing on what is good and what is bad for somebody raised his hand. Yes, Santosh. Any questions?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
As you were saying that in some culture something is celebrated, others we hide or we
Mm-hmm.
don't speak about those things.
Yes.
Like in South India, puberty is celebrated, and when
Yes.
the students, the girl child, when they come to our school, and
Mm-hmm.
a small celebration is
Mm-hmm.
done with the within the friend circle. They
Mm-hmm.
wear new dresses and all this. Whereas in our culture, the North India, we generally hide all these things.
Okay.
So it is generally we the children, they don't understand that why in some culture it is like the children those who are coming from South India, that they are quite open about it,
Mm-hmm.
whereas in North we say that no, don't, we should not tell everyone, we should hide all these things, we should keep it with ourselves.
Okay. Very good example you have given. But when we are talking about the right and wrong behavior in connection with moral development, this is a social system or custom that we follow, right? So, the celebration of puberty or achieving menarche is something which we will have to refer to as a good thing, so that there is no difference maintained as there is a big, huge actually slogan going on since long actually, that men and women are equal. So it has to start with puberty, and we are actually global citizens. We are functioning locally, but we are referring to different countries. Their behavior and what is right and what is wrong will be also decided by us. How it can be decided? Because we are expecting our students to be global citizens when they have bigger chances of going outside the country, and they should not be surprised by the celebration or by hiding of certain things is a good thing. So they will decide. Till they decide what is their take on these celebrations or these events, till that time we have to normalize it, that there is nothing wrong, it is just your body. The way body goes through different changes in lifespan development also we were discussing that growth is always constant. People grow in intelligence in different areas of their life, so this is also a part of their growth. So how we can comfortably normalize it is the question, right? Are you getting my point? Sanchita madam, that was.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So, what role we can play as teachers in the lives of these students?
Ma'am, actually, teachers, they also grow along with the time mentally.
Mhm.
When
Right.
we stay with the students, and then we understand how to deal them, how to handle them, especially
Yes.
girls. And
Yes.
since we are many female teachers, the
Yes.
same thing happens with the male teachers also. That how they handle their boys during this
Yes.
time, this crucial time of a.
Yes. Sometimes
So
they will have many questions in their mind regarding this small event that is happening in the life of.
yes, ma'am. Yes.
They are just bleeding on their periods. So there will be many questions that will be arising in their mind because their parents are not there, and the parents are not very educated enough also sometimes. so that they can explain it scientifically to them. So scientifically, it is a good thing to explain to them so that it is not taken as something bad.
Correct.
Unfortunately, you are teaching biology and all that, so you can include the uh, academically what is right and blend it together with the culture that they are being exposed to and decide what they think, and the decision that the child is going to take should be there, so that they will be convinced that this is not something bad that is happening to me because science says so and I am also getting it and my teacher says so, and in such a beautiful way it is explained by the teacher that I will have no hesitation to discuss about it.
Correct.
So you have always the advantage of being a teacher and explain things scientifically and logically to the children. And why moral development? Why moral development is important? Because sometimes it is not wrong or right. Our understanding of right and wrong is very convoluted, isn't
Correct.
it?
Correct. Correct, ma'am.
So sometimes we think this is the right way for children. I'm focusing, since we are discussing about understanding adolescents and managing their issues. So here we are trying to understand ourselves first. What is our perspective? Why we are thinking in such a way about the adolescents? In uh, what manner I can improve my understanding of them so that I can manage their issues in a better way? All these things should be coming to our mind so that we can be open to the ideas that is being taught to you as a teacher, and you be a part of the global population of teachers. Okay,
Yes.
so right and wrong is not black and white. There are also gray areas which children cannot see. That is why they take it so strictly. टीचर है कैसे गलत बोल दिए, भूल क्यों बोला, झूठ क्यों बोली, ये तो ये इसने था. Sometimes we expose ourselves also when we are trying to make peace among the student groups. It happens in our knowledge or without our knowledge. It happens sometimes when we are not careful enough. We cannot say we are always 100% correct when we are acting in front of the students. Yes or no? Okay. So
Yes, ma'am.
a right thing will always be right, and hence the importance of having moral science as a subject in schools, because there has to be a uniform standard code for behaving in public places, in schools, when they go out, when they grow up also they carry those value systems along with them, and without being confused what to do in new situations, because they will learn the skills of handling new areas of life with renewed energy and with the sense of right and wrong being in proper places. Okay. So, what is moral development? How morality develops? Normally, you will see, I don't know if that portion you have been taught, uh, like how children are developing the 8 stages of Erickson in detail. Have you gone through that? Doesn't matter if
Yes. Yesterday we were discussing
discussing.
about. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we were discussing only those stages which have connection, some connection with the stage adolescence. But there are also other stages, childhood, starting with birth, development starts. So when a child is very small, they will learn by imitating, as you rightly said. But they will also see that parents are fighting, for example, when they are not joining the school. Yet there are situations they observe and they get confused. Parents are fighting, so who will tell them that this is a bad behavior? It should not be happening, but it is happening, very unfortunate, or something they should not be affected by because it is a grown up thing. They will sort it out. There are many ways of explaining it to the child. But since they are in the village and they haven't joined the school, they will develop their own understanding about fights, right? So, how such a student, when suddenly comes to an environment where they are being taught what is right and what is wrong, how will they delete their earlier understanding of right and wrong and replace it with new understanding of right and wrong? Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Okay, so what is uh, we understand as grown-ups is we always say character is more important than intellect. Character is important. So character, who is building character? The moral values that you are inculcating since your birth. You learn it by imitating your elders, then you discard some because you don't like some negative behavior, or you retain some negative behavior thinking that it will make me a winner. If I fight with everybody and shout, people will go away and they will not disturb me anymore. Many things they can learn on them on their own, and they will develop their own rules, right? So finally, when they come to a place where there are more children like them, and there is a teacher who is explaining them what is wrong and what is right, they will get direction. What exactly actually will be acceptable in the society and what exactly they should not be continuing with. It is that is why it is always said character is more important than intellect. So, do you agree that character is more important than intellect?
Of course, ma'am.
Okay, what about a child who always fails but is such a nice boy or nice girl? You cannot actually scold her or him, but fails in the exams, one or two subjects. What do you do with them?
Generally, we uh, watch them continuously because lots of many tests we conduct. In that
Okay.
test, then if they are when their result is going down, then we will it is an alarming situation. And
Mm-hmm.
then we refer those type of students to the counselor, that what is
Okay.
wrong, whether from home they are having any type of problem, they are facing
Okay.
problem from their parents side or from their peer side, like that, then
Yes.
we come to a conclusion.
Yes. But we were discussing about the zone of proximal development yesterday by Vygotsky. The theory given by Vygotsky talks about zone of proximal development, which states that person's maximum development is up to this much only. Beyond that, the person cannot grow. I mean, each one has its own limit, right? So we have to be very patient with children when they are going through these developmental periods. You never know what issues they are going through, and they will learn how to solve these issues, and they will focus slowly, and they will prioritize things also. Just because they are getting caught up with different issues, their attention is maybe divided. So even if they are not so good in studies, but the zone of proximal development is always there for everybody, which will ensure that they are passing the exam at least, right? So that you have to explain to them. Although the concept of values changes from individual to individual and culture to culture and context to context, you have the same right and wrong as a norm to refer to across all cultures and across the time period. बड़ों को मारना मना है. Wherever you go, whether it is an African culture, whether it is an Indian culture, or whether it is Adivasi way of living, nowhere it will say that beating or hitting elders with something is acceptable. Okay. So, irrespective of the context, irrespective of the cultures, there are some fixed rules which says what is wrong and what is right. The sense of value and rational judgment is there since human history. It is not a new development. There are universal truths, with we say, which we follow everywhere, wherever you go. Parents have to be taken care of by the children, and the children are responsible for being nice to their parents. They cannot use harsh words against parents. All that is a understandable thing for all in all the cultures, and any deviation from this understanding is looked down upon. So what is moral development means? Moral means it is drawn from the Latin word mores, which means manners, norms, or proper behavior. Okay, so hence the individual's moral concept is formed by the contextual laws. It is always the context which makes the child get exposed to different situations, and there they see how a rule is formed or how a rule is followed by all. For example, the child is very small, he suddenly sees that there are two groups of people in the village, they are fighting against each other. So the fight gets so big that all the families get involved and there is हंगामा छा गया पूरा जैसे बोलते. Then there is a legal system also which we call panchayat or something. They go to the panchayat sarpanch, and he is the one who decides what has to be done for the fight between two groups. So they will have in mind that okay, there is a bigger person in importance who can solve our problems when we are not sure about what to do. Okay, a small child, a very small child. So that is how they also see the police. They always are afraid of the police because they are taught, they are threatened that police will come and beat you if you are being a bad child. So they develop this fear for wrong behavior simply because they think that they will be get beaten by the police. No explanation, nothing. So such kind of behavior is moral development in children that is happening as they are growing up. Moral concepts will start developing in childhood when the child will learn or observe the parents or teachers appreciating their behavior or approving their behavior, and what is good act and what is bad act. If they are disapproved or criticized by significant teachers or parents who are important in their life, maybe an uncle or maybe a priest, so they will decide what they should be continuing and what they should stop doing because it is not appreciated by anybody in their locality. Okay. So using punishment and reward, the child's moral development is getting affected, and it gets affected for their own good because they are emotionally involved. I was telling you about the amygdala yesterday. Sometimes few decisions are taken to the amygdala immediately instead of going to the prefrontal cortex in the brain. Prefrontal cortex is responsible for your cognitive development. So when in fight or flight mode, all the information will go through this emotional center. So the child will learn to show emotions instead of showing rational behavior when in confusion. Okay. So it is clear that moral development is a very intricate process in which action and interaction of an individual and with others in the society or in the social system with significant other people in his life will be very important, and how they relate to each other and what kind of behavior they are showing to each other, whether they are peacefully coexisting or there is always problem in the existence of and there is always question about or threat to their life. That is how the पुराने जो age से we have come this far to the modern age. That was the basic idea. What should be they doing so that they can avoid fighting? क्योंकि अपने आप में झगड़ा करे तो there will be no benefit to any particular group. So on moral development, there was this person, Lawrence Kohlberg, who has done many researches to explain how moral development is a process of discovering universal moral principles. And these moral principles are very difficult to understand sometimes. Have you seen grown up or an adult doing wrong behavior and escaping punishment? That happens, they go against the law. It is seen commonly these days, right? Isn't it? Somebody has raised the hand. Any questions, Narayan? Okay, I will assume there is no question, that is by mistake. Okay, let's continue. So, according to Lawrence Kohlberg, who was a researcher on moral science development, moral development is a process of discovering universal moral principles. So, how these small children are going to discover universal moral principles? Because it depends on the child's intellectual development also. They cannot reach out to the universal moral principles without going through the local principles first, then the state's principle, the country. What is the law of the country? There is a legal system and there is international legal ways of handling culprits. So in such situations, they happen to see grown-up adults doing wrong behavior, and they sometimes find it very weird that they are not getting punished also. So that confuses them. That is why we have a legal system also which supports this moral development. Sometimes moral development is not about showing the right behavior, being nice to each other. Sometimes moral behavior is beyond that, which can get entangled with the legal system of the state. Okay. So there is this psychologist again, Jean Piaget, in the 19... Yes?
मैडम ये स्लाइड प्रेजेंटेशन हो रहा है क्या? हमको दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है मैडम.
नहीं, स्लाइड प्रेजेंटेशन नहीं कर रहे हैं.
ओके मैडम, थैंक यू, थैंक यू.
क्योंकि इतना सारा पोर्शंस है आप लोगों का, तो स्लाइड तो मतलब सारा भर जाएगा, आपका खत्म नहीं होगा कोर्स.
ओके मैडम, ओके, थैंक यू.
You need slide presentation.
No, actually मैडम मैंने just now joined due to some network issue.
Okay.
That's why madam.
Okay, I'll refresh the memory then. Today we are going to discuss about moral development in children. We have started with the understanding of different types of development happening among adolescents. So we started with physical and psychosocial development yesterday. Then today it is about moral development, how their moral sense develops. Okay, in that connection we are discussing all this. So there are these people who have contributed a lot into the field of moral development through their researches. One is Lawrence Kohlberg, and Piaget also has talked about Piaget in the year 1932. That was long time back. He has given the theory that moral development in individuals happens because of a constructivist process. Constructivist process means there is an interaction between action and thought. Then the child will learn, if I do this, if I do something, this will the reward I'll get. They think and then they act upon it. Okay. So this theory that was developed by Lawrence Kohlberg is very interesting. It is based on it's like a theory he has given by observing the behavior of other people to a wrong thing that is happening and how they look at it. So Kohlberg found that there is this Heinz dilemma. The person's name was Heinz. So he told the story of Heinz to different groups and found out their answers, what they think about it. So in this case, there was this person, Heinz, whose wife was very ill. And there was a local drug store which was selling the drug for the cure of that wife. Medication was there. But Heinz was very poor. He could not afford that much of money. He went to the shopkeeper, begged for the medicine. He said that he'll pay in installments, but the shopkeeper was very strict about not paying in advance. So what happens at night? Heinz breaks open the door of the shop and steals that medicine, all of the medicines that were there in the cabinet, and goes away. So how Heinz should be punished? Because in the morning it was found out that the particular medicine is missing only. So the shopkeeper could know that who has taken. So he reported it to the police. So now whether Heinz should be punished or not, what do you think? What should be the repercussion of the stealing that he did?
According to me, ma'am, he should not be punished because the shopkeeper should be little bit empathetical due to the situation which Heinz was facing.
Okay,
Should be empathetical or for him. But
okay,
since he was very strict,
mhm,
so Heinz had to take such a drastic situation, I mean, a step.
okay. Yeah, there is no right and wrong answer to this. So whatever comes to your mind, you can say freely. That is how the experiment was done also. Like Kohlberg took all the answers given by different age groups, by different people, and categorized them into different categories. And from there, he found out his theory. This is one way of looking at that. Yes, it is perfectly all right for him because that was the right thing at that time to save the life of his wife. And some people would say a theft is a theft, right? So it has to be punished, isn't it? So, in such a manner, he developed his theory and he talks about three levels of morality. We'll see what are they. Moral development is always affected by different factors like family, school, teachers, your neighborhood, the experiences that you have in different social setups, whether it is a club activity you are involved with friends or with religious institutions, culture, community, social media. These are different situations actually where the moral development is getting modified. You see something happening in the neighborhood which is okay with calling names, but in the school you cannot call names. So it is opposing each other, but it is okay in such situations depending on the context. These things the child is learning by watching others behave in such manners. So it is very important to focus on moral development at a younger age so that it can help individuals to make better choices and decisions in life. Then they will learn how to expect, what to expect, and how to adjust with different social systems. Okay, so this is how the academic part gets merged with the social values that you are going to teach your children. That is how in the, for example, in the nursery or in the small um, children, you will see they will learn, actually they will take time to sit properly in the classroom and behave properly, and they have to be trained. After a certain age, they will not be behaving in such a manner. So they are learning the tricks of the game by watching others, by listening to the teachers, and they're inculcating all the assimilated information into their own system and develop their own sense of morality. Okay. So moral value education is important in educational system when we are talking about civilization of its citizens. So some of the moral values that you have in your life, observe that it's not present, but you have taken a decision in your life to develop your own moral behavior. Can you share such an experience? Sometimes there is nobody to teach you because life is unexpected and it throws you at situations where you have no proper training, prior experience also. So what will you do when you are confronted with the new situations where you are supposed to take the right choice, which will not be a bad decision? Have you ever come across such a situation? Because we are trying to understand the youngsters, the adolescents, and we are trying to manage their convoluted idea about sense of right and wrong. Sometimes if you ask a naughty boy, did you do the right thing by hitting him? He would say, yes, I did the right thing. It happens, right? They would say, ना मैंने ठीक किया मार के क्योंकि उसने मुझे ऐसा कहा. ऐसे भी सिचुएशंस आते हैं, है ना?
Yes, ma'am.
So who is actually going to teach them? We have to reflect upon our sense of judgment when we were of their age so that we can be more empathetic towards them and understand them properly, what they are going through in this particular age. They also belong to a different age which was not in our time prevalent. So in such situations, they are getting confused with the moral standards of the universe, moral standards of the local authorities, moral standards at school, and moral standards at home, which is more lenient. So how they can be helped if we don't understand them properly? Can you remember a situation from your life itself where you felt that this is a difficult situation, let me think what I can do, and you took your own decision which was never tried before and you felt good about it also? Anyone? Okay, you can think about it, then think of the answer, because these portions that are there in your book can be read and they can be easily digested by you all teachers and you can do well in your exams. But this reflection on your life and on your experiences is very important, because we normally don't think unless we are asked to think. So we think we are doing right things only, we have been born always correct. But it's not true. We have also done mistakes, we have learned our mistakes, and that is how we have developed to be such good teachers to guide the students to on the right path. Isn't it? So there are different approaches to moral development. Jean Piaget's theory of moral development talks about two main types of moral thinking. One is heteronomous and the other one is autonomous morality. Heteronomous morality is moral realism, which says that between the age of 5 to 9 years, children have heteronomous morality stage, which is also known as moral realism. In moral realism, what happens? Morality is forced from the outside. Since this is happening between the age of 5 to 9, they are actually governed by the rule reward and punishment. If they don't obey, then the rules are not followed, parents' rules are not followed, then they will be beaten or they will be not appreciated. So they think these rules are unchangeable. They accept the rules without questioning. In moral realism, they think that there is a God who is watching them and there is this inherent justice which will be administered to them if they are not doing the right thing. So, young children, such young children between the age of 5 to 9, they think that these are the rules by adults and morality is based on such rules which they have to follow to respect their parents, which again is a requirement by them. And for the teachers also, they have to show respect. Here you can relate the child to primary classes where teachers are followed blindly. You must have seen in your case also where your child is so blind about the teacher saying they will not correct a wrong mistake. Mistakenly the teacher has written something which is wrong, they will not accept it. नहीं टीचर ने बताया है ये सही होगा आप गलत हो बोलेंगे. कभी देखा है आपने अपने बच्चे में?
बिल्कुल देखा है मैम.
हाँ. So this is this
उसमें बच्चा आके बोलता है कि when my child was very young at the time,
yes.
so the child said that you will not spell H, it is H, because teacher has said it is H and it is yam.
Yes. So imagine the impact the teacher has on the child. So you can actually build a very strong child by guiding them. This is how you influence them. Okay. So there are common dialogues between parents and teachers also who are dealing with children at the onset of adolescence. For example, before exam, you have parent-teacher meeting. What do when the parents come to meet you? They complain about the child. Or they just look up to you as savior of their children. There will be always some common points between the teachers and parents which both will agree, and they will try to impose that on the child in such a manner that the child will think that this is what exactly I am supposed to do no matter what. But when the parents go against the teacher's rule, for example, about studying for their class test or something, and they take them away for home visits, then it brings a disbalance or imbalance in the understanding they have about the teacher's prominence and the parents' prominence in the child's life. So they try to take advantage of that also. It must be happening in some cases because they try to judge who is more powerful, and children are very very observant in such situations and very clever also to know how to modify the situation and take advantage of it. Not knowingly, but they are trying to experiment how far they can go. Right? Don't you feel they are trying to test your patience sometimes? And they will know actually what exactly they have, what is their line to draw. It happens.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's not that they are being very devilish and acting in such a manner. They're just trying to understand their area of functioning by testing the limits that you are setting for them. आज थोड़ा लेट कर दिए, 6 बजे के बदले 6:15 पे आए वापस, टीचर थोड़ा सा डांटा, फिर ठीक है, थोड़ी देर के बाद 6:30 करेंगे, देन दे विल सी अभी भी कुछ नहीं बोल रहे हैं. So this is how they test your limits and try to make changes to the rules that you are setting for themselves. Okay, so they normally tell things that happens in the class to the teachers when they are young. In the younger group, you will find it very easy to find out the culprit in a class who is being naughty. But in bigger groups, you will see in the grown-up students group, you will see they will not tell the name of a single person unless he or she is very naughty. They will normally keep quiet to save their friend from beating. Isn't it? You have seen that happening in your classes?
Most of the time, ma'am.
So this is a typical behavior shown by the age groups, which is governed by different moral principles. Because young children are governed by strict black and white principles. If I don't follow, then God is going to punish me. If I don't follow, then my parents are going to disown me. Or there is this fear which they cannot think of deviating from. And in grown up children, they stand for each other because they know that truth is something different and they are trying to explore the areas where they can make some changes and reset the rule. Okay, and they know it is not very wrong to do that. That also they will be keeping in mind, but they will have their own value system and they will question the value system which the parents and teachers are setting for them if they are not logically satisfied with the teachers or parents' value system. They will always use logic to understand why they are asking them to do things in certain ways. Okay, so then the second Piaget talks about is autonomous morality or moral relativism. That is 10 years onwards that you will see the stage of autonomous morality is, as it is suggested by the name itself, self-governing or self-directed. It is also known as moral relativism because morality is based on their own rules, autonomous. Children start understanding that the concept of right and wrong is based on intentions of the person and not the consequences of the act. Okay, so that way they become very flexible. They will realize there is no absolute right or absolute wrong. Okay, so children go through a necessary restructuring and they start understanding the moral issues from a different perspectives as they are growing up. They begin to understand others' perspectives also. They understand moral rules from other person's point of view. And as they are growing up also, the moral judgment is always free from biases and personal judgments. They involve others in their judgments. Okay. And at this stage, they start understanding that rules are made by people for people's convenience only. And it is not to punish them, but small children, they always are scared by the punishment that they will be getting. Or understanding the rules that is set for them is so perfect, they don't want to change it. Because they think our parents are the ultimate in setting the rules, we should just blindly follow them. But here, they are thinking like adults and the rules of nature or the responsibility that they're taking for themselves and others is not governed by punishment or the fear of punishment. Okay. Any questions? Okay. So overall, Piaget describes the older children are developing an autonomous morality, that they are subjected to their own laws. This change in thinking also is a result of several factors, as it depends on the child's cognitive development, uh, then how much importance they are giving to the peers group. For older children, moral belief and reference group is other children, always. They always refer to other children as a point of reference to understand what they should be doing so that they will not be outcast by other people of their age. So Piaget's moral development talks about 3 stages. Moral reasoning develops through childhood due to disequilibrium and decreasing egocentrism, he says. So stage 1 is pre-moral, stage 2 is heteronomous or moral realism, as we discussed. Stage 3 is autonomous morality, which is again beyond 10 years. It emphasizes on cooperation, and rules are changeable under certain circumstances where mutual consent is there. Okay. And Lawrence Kohlberg's theory that we discussed is divided into 2 different levels. 2 different levels, which has 3 stages at each level. So in total, there are 6 different stages of moral development according to Lawrence Kohlberg. One is pre-conventional, second is conventional morality level. Okay. And the last is post-conventional. Pre-conventional morality level has, again, as I said, each level has 2 stages. It has got obedience and punishment orientation. During this stage, they are actually following the certain consequences that will be the result of their action. For example, if the child is doing something like wishing teachers, then they will be rewarded with a smile, or they will be appreciated for their good behavior, that they are friendly in nature and they are wishing everybody they know the right kind of behavior to show in the school. And on the other hand, if the child is doing something bad like hitting another child or breaking school furniture, they will be punished and will have negative consequences for the inappropriate behavior. This is pre-conventional morality level, because they are children, they are not yet developed individuals. Okay, so the second stage in pre-conventional level is individualism and exchange. In individualism and exchange, the child learns to care about self and others also. Here the child starts to learn the principle of reciprocity and understands that it is for his or her interest. So they will do unto others as they do unto you. They will follow this rule. Then the third stage of this level is good interpersonal relationship. In this stage, children will already know that if something is good done to others, they will have good relationship with family and neighbors, friends, classmates, they will be happy with him. And the stage fourth is maintaining the social order, which is much related to the third stage. Because here also they are following the social order and system that is followed in their own societies or social systems. Their intention is normally to be good and concerned about the good image that is expected by the society. Okay. So the important difference in this stage is children become fully concerned about the people around them, and they care about the society and environment as well. So there is this circle of concerns moving from self and people in this expansion from self to the society is going to help the child to obey and respect laws. From this phase onwards, they will learn the laws of the society, and they will learn how to protect themselves from falling into the trap of law by doing something wrong. They will not harm others. They will follow the laws, the legal system. People and the authority will be respected by them. Okay. Then comes post-conventional morality. Any question?
Ma'am, what about conventional?
Conventional, we just discussed, maintaining the social order and good interpersonal relationship.
Acha, it is interpersonal relationship.
Yes, good interpersonal relationship. Each level, there are two levels, and each level has um, two. There are three levels. Each level has two stages. Okay, that was the conventional. Yeah.
All right, ma'am.
Okay. Then comes the post conventional morality. Mind you, we are talking about the development of morality. So, as we are discussing about the moral development, we are also looking at the age factor. As they are growing up in age, these changes will happen. As they are interacting with the peer group, they are going to different schools, changing schools, or going to the church or to the temples and interacting with different club members, having their small groups in their locality, neighborhood, all that matters in the formation of moral principles. Okay, so post conventional morality, there is a social contract and individual rights in which the child believes and analyzes the moral values and principles, what he sees around him, and aligns with these views and belief patterns for the society. He learns that my sense of morality also should be aligning with these on these lines. Otherwise, I'll be in trouble. Okay. Here, they also develop their own viewpoints. So they're learning how to create a balance between what they understand of the social system and the legal authorities, what they do when something is, some moral behavior is broken. Moral behavior is always not legal. It is something which has to be shown, right? For example, you are going on the road, you're driving a scooty, you suddenly see that a small child fell off. So you stop by and take care of the child. That is the moral behavior, but nobody is going to punish you for not helping the child. Okay, so you have to, but you feel nice when you help others. Then you align it with the others' behavior, good behavior. Then the child also will have their own viewpoints, opinions, beliefs, and values in life based on their experiences, or by seeing others and their own experience. They will establish a set of rules for themselves which they will follow when different situations come. Okay. And they come to an agreement that human beings equally and they treat others equally. There is no difference between the classes. And the sixth stage is known as universal principles. Here, the child is a little more grown up. Universal principles, where the individual will include the universal ethical principles. There are universal principles also, decisions about right and wrong. We talk about human rights. We discuss cases, ऐसे कैसे हो गया अब, वो the murderer था उसको कैसे फांसी नहीं मिला. All these discussions that we come across, we discussed all these universal issues also based on the principles that we have learned as good or bad. So the right and wrong is based on the individual's conscience. It is based on their conscience and their ethical principle. And individual conscience exceeds the cultural, religious, or social rules because it is their belief that they hold. They're not going to implement anything against the individual because it is a universal thing. They're just discussing it and they are keeping it to themselves. What should be their action had they been in such a situation? Okay. And regarding Kohlberg's stages of moral development, we have discussed pre-conventional, conventional, and post-conventional. Pre-conventional is stage 1. Each level has again two stages. In pre-conventional, sorry, I missed something. Somebody is asking question.
No, ma'am, no, ma'am.
Okay. Out of these 3 levels, we have 2 stages in each level. In pre-conventional, we have discussed obedience and punishment, which the child shows to avoid getting in trouble. So they base their understanding of right and wrong on obedience and punishment. And in stage 2, level 1, which again is under pre-conventional, individualism and exchange is the guiding principle. So what is it in me that I'll gain? Will I be in pain if I follow this, or I'll get pleasure? That is the thinking they have. And in conventional level, stage 3 is good boy or good girl. They will decide actually what makes me look good. They will gain approval from others and they will see that law and order has been maintained. Because of that is the rule, because it is the law, they will follow it. Not because somebody is asking them to do it right at that moment. Maybe there is no one to observe their behavior, but they will follow it because that is what they think is the right way to behave. Okay. And then stage 5 is social contract. Social contract is for the common good and welfare of others. And stage 6 is principled conscience, personal integrity. No matter what the price is, they can take their own stand. For example, there is a fight between, there is a suicide happened. And there are many people who support the suicide because the girl was harassed or something. So there was no other way of living. And some people said that it is a very nasty thing which she did. The parents are so hurt. And some people will blame the institute. Some people will do something. So in this case, there is this personal integrity. What matters to you as you think about the conscience of taking up such a step. So no matter the price that you have to pay, you consider it from your own point of view. You are not scared anymore that people are going to punish you if you follow your own moral system to give your opinion. Okay. Any questions? So there are factors which affect moral development. So when we say something is influencing me to behave in a way, even now, you never wanted to do something, but you did it because all your friends did it. For example, you never had the habit of going to cinema halls. You always enjoyed it watching TV at home, but because you have been told by your parents as you were a small kid, when you were a small kid, that going to theatre halls is not a good idea. Many things can happen, so it's always better to watch TV at home, not in the cinema halls. So you followed what they have told you all your life. Suddenly you do something which is against that and you go with your friends because you wanted to do that as others are doing. Okay, so who is affecting your moral behavior? Your friends, definitely. And are you going to change your uh, commitment to your parents because your friends are insisting, or you make a logical judgment about going out, thinking that nothing can happen to me because so many others are going also, so I will be one of the visitors or audience? What comes to your mind? And now you are growing up, so you have no fear of doing the right thing or wrong thing. That sense is gone because you are driven by universal principles and you are judging actually what is good and what is bad. In such a situation, what you consider as the guiding principle for you going to the cinema hall? Any answer? कोई तो घसीट के नहीं ले जाएगा आपको. You said yes, so you are with the group to watch a movie. Okay. So here there is no pressure to behave in a certain fixed manner that you have been behaving since childhood. But you are being influenced by family, friends, or teachers, or your friends, peer group, or neighborhood who is asking you to go with them. It will make them happy. And you consider both pros and cons, and you decide that there is no harm in going. I'll be coming back. So you make peace with the idea of going out and you inform your parents accordingly. So, this is the moral behavior you are showing by taking responsibility for the kind of behavior you are showing in connection with TV watching and theater watching. Okay, so your moral behavior, moral development is getting influenced by many factors. Had you been alone, you wouldn't go for a movie watching. Since there are friends who are asking you to go, that is how they are influencing your decision to go. You are behaving in such a manner, right? So, what is that which is influencing your moral development? Family is first. As we always say, family is the first school of the child. It plays an important role in our all kind of development, starting from eating habits to psychosocial development, emotional development, to moral development. Okay. So, with the parents' acceptance or rejection, the child's action or reaction, for that matter, to say, it begins to learn the secrecy of good and bad. And they learn that approved behavior is seen as good and prohibited good behavior is viewed as bad. So, family is a place where the fundamentals of child's moral development starts. And sometimes parents explain the rules, sometimes there are reasons they give, and sometimes they punish or reward the child as per their behavior that they show. Okay. And second is school. School has also influence on your moral behavior. After parents and family, it is the school, okay, which plays a very important role in establishing moral concepts among children. Then comes the peer group. In school, teachers are known as second parents. So remember your role as a moral authority. So whatever you do or say, be careful so that the children will respect you more for being consistent in your imposition of rules. Sometimes children observe the discrepancy in setting the rules by the teachers. उसको हाँ कर दिए, मुझे क्यों मना कर रहे हैं? These questions come to their mind. So such discrepancy should not be there. Okay. So that is how they are getting influenced by their moral behavior is getting influenced by the teachers in school. Then there comes peer group and friends. Children normally think the right kind of friends. They choose the right kind of friends to play. They don't want to fight all the time. So they will have their own small group maybe, but they will play with each other in that small group. They will share and care. Especially this need for having friends is more important during adolescence. छोटे बच्चे जो है इतना उनको नहीं फर्क पड़ता है, जिसके साथ भी खेलने को भेजो वो चले जाएंगे खेलने के लिए. If you are going to your relative's house also, the small child will go and play whoever is available. But adolescents are becoming more choosy as they are growing up, and they realize that it is very important to have friends to share, care, and to know each other. So their development is more influenced by friends in social groups. So the peer groups are helping the adolescent to develop new moral behavior. They provide with further opportunities to make decisions, and this forces the adolescent to start facing moral dilemmas and difficult moral decisions. They start facing the moral dilemmas because of the support of the peer group, and they realize that it is okay to behave in a certain way because there are others also who are behaving, and more importantly, they are judging it by applying rules of logic, and they are aware about the legal system which is taught to them in the books. So all that is helping them to make adjustments and changes to the moral principles and value system that they have in their system as right and wrong. Okay. Any question? Okay. Then there is this society and culture that also affects our moral development. If the society is uncivilized, no matter how much you try, you cannot always find a refined individual growing out of a uncivilized society. Unless you, I don't know how many of you have seen that movie Hitchki. Have you seen that movie Hitchki?
Yes, ma'am, I have seen.
Okay. That is how strong a teacher can influence a child's behavior also.
Correct.
Right? So we cannot undermine the importance of one factor or the other in the development of moral development. But there is a common rule that you should not choose your friend circle or peer group based on the idea of fitting in. You have to choose them based on your value system. And teachers can play a very important role in changing the moral behavior in a positive manner by interfering or by intervening at the right time, so that the child becomes a very responsible individual when they grow up. Okay. Then there is this media influence in our life. Media plays a very big role. Since when we have been watching TV, news on TV? How many years? If I ask you, how many years you would say that you have been watching TV for news?
I watch, ma'am.
For the last how many years?
I'm watching from college level.
Okay. Can we say 20 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Prior to that, newspapers?
Newspaper and radio, BBC.
Yes. So, which is making you making you believe more in the news, the visuals or the written thing?
A written thing, ma'am.
Why not the
newspapers. Visuals have become more they are fighting with each other, whatever the uh, कैसे बताऊं मैं आपको, दैट इज कि वो ज्यादा क्या हो गए हैं, माने किसी चीज को और मिर्च मसाला बनाकर दिखाने लायक हो गए हैं.
So that you are saying at this stage of your life, but imagine about a youngster, an adolescent who is just growing to be
Yes,
a
yes, ma'am.
responsible.
Media is a very we can say it is very big influencer.
Yes, they believe what they see.
Yes.
Hmm. But we have the judgment capacity, so we know that what we see is always not true.
Yes,
But
whatever glitters is not gold. It is
yes,
very, very necessary to make the child understand.
yes. So it is very important to teach the children in life, which is going through the media influence in a very important, it's a very important role actually people have to play in the lives of these youngsters, that what they watch on TV, what type of games they play, or whether they're accessing the internet, what kind of news they are hearing, if they are getting exposed to violence and negativity, all that will lead to immoral decisions, such as they'll get aggressive. There was a nice experiment done by Bobo Doll. Have you heard about it?
Pardon, ma'am?
Bobo Doll experiment. There was this psychologist. I'm not giving you all details, but he did
No.
hmm, how media can influence our behavior immediately, our anger, emotion, all that comes to play immediately after watching a negative thing. So in this case, he divided two groups of people into two, kept them in two rooms, and one group was exposed to nice, funny videos, and the other group was given uh, a movie which was aggressive in nature. It was based on Maramari and all. So after that, they were taken out from that room, and both groups were given dolls, which was called Bobo doll. जिसको punch करो, मारो. So they saw that the group which was exposed to the violent movie got very violent after watching that movie, and they started tearing apart that doll. And the other group, which was calm and sober, they were not given any aggressive emotion to watch. They were nicely adapting to the situation, and they were taking care of the doll actually. Okay, so this is how our emotion gets charged in a wrong way or in a right way by what we are watching, or to what we are subjecting ourselves to. Because children learn through imitating or modeling adults for role models, they acquire the moral behavior by modeling them, or by observing them, or by imitating them. So they also see the emotional response in media. All the drama that goes on media, we can see the difference. But they are youngsters, they cannot see the difference, the hidden agenda behind these news readers. So that creates a very confused idea about the news and how people behave in these ways. That is why the morality is very twisted. They do mistakes and they think they can run away with it. Right? Okay. Then comes age. As we are aging, we are developing our moral standards and moral behavior, moral understanding, moral values, value system, belief pattern. All that is refined as we are growing in age. So we have seen that moral development theories, age is a very crucial factor. As you are growing up, you are thinking logically before setting a belief pattern or deciding about what is right and what is wrong. So the child will move from unconditional obedience to logical ways of thinking, which he or she can disapprove or disagree to, even if it is coming from the parents. For example, if the parents are saying that you should not be talking to girls, they will follow when they were small maybe, but they will question, why should I not be talking to my friends? They are friends only, even if they are girls. They will question the authority, which never happens in school when they are youngsters, very young. Okay. And gender is a biological difference between men and women, or male and female. So it plays an important role in moral development. Our social conditioning makes boys and girls behave in different ways. And the families and societies, girls, boys, they're built to believe in laws that are made by the parents and society, which could be wrong sometimes. Okay? But we follow that fearing that what others will say. And they are filled with more guilt and shame when they don't follow it. Girls are normally taught to be very obedient by the elders, otherwise, they are criticized, and boys are also accepted more to be aggressive. So, this difference in behavior by the parents and other
मैम
social.
मैम ये जो
Yes.
पॉइंट है, मैक्सिमम डिसिप्लिन जो है वो गर्ल्स ही मेंटेन करती मैम स्कूल में.
Yes, that is understood. But when they go back home, there is a different kind of treatment. जो मर्द का बच्चा है उसको ज्यादा खाना मिलता है अच्छा अच्छा.
यस मैम, यस मैम.
जो लड़की है, she has to adjust with whatever is left.
जी जी.
ये खा ले बस चलेगा, ये तो कितना काम करके आएगा बचपन में, इसको अच्छा खाना चाहिए. So this difference treatment by the family because of the gender that they belong to is very wrong. But how many are standing against it? So this is also a thing to ponder about morally. Nobody is addressing it properly. That is why this difference is going on and on, feminism and all that, for years together. And not in India only, but other countries are also facing the same problem. Okay. Any other question that you have in mind?
नो मैम.
Okay. Education also plays an important role. And then you have to be the role model actually. As they are starting their school with you teachers, you be the role model, as one of the teachers rightly pointed out. They imitate you, they watch you more than what you say. So your values should be in proper place. Okay. What is the time? Okay. Any questions? No questions? Okay. What you can do as teachers and parents is you can make them practice their learning. What is good, they maintain it, and what is bad, they will discard it and replace it with more acceptable behavior. They will have a clear and effective communication because children have to be taught to express properly and communicate their feelings and openly without fear of being ridiculed or judged. That way, they will keep quiet always, and the right thing may be twisted. So, communicating moral values in an easy and comprehensive manner is very important. You have to use simple language and examples depending on the child's age. If it is a small child, there is no point in giving big lectures to the child. Rather, give simple examples to make them understand what is good and what is wrong. After teaching a lesson again, you have to control your urge to tell the answer. Rather, you have to make it a discussion group and see the different viewpoints. Okay. Here I'm asking questions, I'm not getting any viewpoints, but it's okay. But as teachers, when you are handling your class, you should make them get into discussion more than they have to just quiet listener. Okay. So make them also think of the wise and good use of the media. Now we know that the media is not having a good impact because the overall experience also says that all this negativity is not going to do any good to the young generation. So you have to make them responsible enough about what they are using for the media for. Okay. And building on empathy. What is empathy? You become empathetic towards somebody. So, what does it mean? You're putting yourself in their shoes and trying to see what they're going through. It is not sympathy. Okay, sympathy is different and empathy is different. So, you have to prompt your students to think about how others are feeling. Let them see others' perspectives also. Let them not be fixed in only with their idea. They can play a role reversal game, then see how the other person is getting affected by their behavior, and they will make changes accordingly. These are very subtle changes that you will not observe immediately, but finally you will see a very refined grown up adolescent when they come out of the school. Okay. And some important moral values are empathy, compassion, gratitude, honesty, sharing, and cooperation, respect, responsibility, equality, justice, courage, acceptance, patience, perseverance, self control. All these are points to be inculcated in the students. So they have to learn to be empaths. They should not be ridiculing, or there should not be lack of empathetic component in their personality, because these are all desirable qualities. Compassion, again, it helps the individual to feel love and care towards others. Gratitude, always have an attitude of gratitude, we say. So the individual will appreciate the things that they have in life, and they will shift from focusing on what they don't have to what they have. Honesty is also very important. We all we are all grown up by reading books. That is, honesty is the best policy. Hmm. But how many of us are being honest really? No, because so that gives the children an idea actually. They don't have to be honest all the time when it comes to right and wrong. So it should not happen. If it is happening, proper explanation should be given. Okay. They have to learn how to share, because we have learned that sharing is caring. It helps the children to come out of self and extend the help to others. Cooperation also. Cooperation is extending and helping hand to others is very important. It has to be taught to the children in the playground. It has to be encouraged in the classroom also. Everywhere it can be encouraged through the actions of the teacher by doing proper intervention. Okay. And respect. Before we teach our children respect others, we should teach them to respect their own selves, because they should respect themselves so much that they will always be self motivated to be good human beings. If respect and appreciating your body, you have to love your body, you have to love yourself, you have to do exercise, then you will do the right things in life because you love yourself so much. You're not doing it for anyone, you're doing it for yourself. Okay? And responsibility taking. Normally, children love to imitate their favorite teacher. You must have seen your children imitating you. They will try to be you. They will also say in the group discussion that I want, what is your future aim? I want to be a teacher like you. Okay, that is the best compliment you can get as a teacher. The best way to make a child responsible is to set an example yourself. Okay. Then equality is also a very important component of other moral values like justice. Our constitution values say that we should be treating all individuals equal in terms of rights, opportunities, and status in order to make a just society. Okay, so we have to follow that equality in terms of a very wide, in terms of moral values and justice. Justice is again the 10th point that you have to keep in mind, that it has to be inculcated among the students. If you are just dealing with children, they will also stand against unfair and unjust behaviors. So it will help them to do the right thing or wrong thing and choose the right path. At that time, you have to set the example of justice and the right thing at the school, how they should be behaving. For example, sitting on the table is and having a meal is not a very good thing for the child to do. So you can teach them, even if there is no wrong thing which can be punished legally, that is not the right kind of behavior to show in a social situation. Okay. And courage. Courage is something what the child will display to complain about a friend or peer who is bullying a new student, so that they will be empathizing with the student and they can help the students by going to the teacher and complaining. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Then comes acceptance. If an individual is learning to accept one's own self and others as they are, a lot of conflict and unnecessary argument can be brought to an end. And it is the ability of an individual to accept and look at the different viewpoints of another individual. It broadens the young child's perspective and helps him to empathize and see a situation in a relatively different way. For example, a child and a friend in a classroom disagree with some issue. You ask them to calmly listen to each other and then don't allow them to judge each other. Teach them to accept and explain it why they are thinking so and be respectful to the other's perspective. There will be a difference in opinion again. They will understand that their opinion is not the ultimate opinion. People are there who can think differently also, and that has to be respected. Okay. And patience is very important as a skill to achieve the desired goals in life. So they have to learn the patience in their life so that they are not making any hasty judgment, and it is helping them to be socially responsible also. Perseverance is something which will help them academically. They will achieve success if they are persevering. It is an act of putting persistent effort to achieve a goal. So help them to teach them to be persevere in nature and in making the child to learn a never say die attitude. Then there is the self-control. Self-regulation or emotional regulation is very important. Self means it involves the self and emotion also. So when you are involved with children and their disputes, it is very natural for you to get emotionally involved. Sometimes you lose your temper, and sometimes you yell at them, which is going to show your weakness to them only. Okay. So you help yourself in such situations which is demanding on you emotionally and act accordingly. Okay. And the moral values that we discussed, that how it develops in the children's ideas and beliefs, it will develop their morality strong, and they will become very responsible individuals as they grow up into grown-up adults. These are the building blocks of an individual's personality. When we talk about personality, actually it is nothing what they wear and how they are walking or how they are talking. It is about their own whole person as a whole and what values he holds. That will automatically get reflected in his behavior, in his emotion, in his handling of different situations. Okay. That's all for this moral development. Any questions that you have about this unit? Should we start with the new chapter or we'll start with tomorrow?
Ma'am, you can take it tomorrow. Actually, it is already 6:43.
Okay. Okay. Anything that you want to discuss on what we covered today?
No, ma'am. No.
Okay. Okay then. We'll meet each other tomorrow at the same time.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Okay.
madam.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you. Thank you,
Good
ma'am.
night.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good
Thank you, madam.
night.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Good night.
Good night, ma'am. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, madam.